interesting listening to you how we are going to look internal or within to find out that happiness. And you started with the quote of Gautam Buddha, which is very interesting. And after Ravi, we have another master trainer candidate, which is an MTC of NLP, and he is our none other than Mr. Deepak Kumar. Deepak is passionate about coaching and is currently coaching entrepreneurs, singers, and students and being a part of their journey. He uses his skills of NLP, Six Sigma, design thinking, and leadership to coach entrepreneurs. He also supports businesses in developing their team capability through various interventions. He holds certifications like he is an MTC of with ANLP India. He is ACC, a certified Six Sigma black belt, and a master practitioner of design thinking. Other interests, he is long distance runner and participates regularly in half marathon. He loves traveling. One of his purpose of life is touching people's lives in their journey towards success. He is currently based in Ahmedabad and he's going to talk about NLP and impactful conversation. I welcome you, Deepak, for your session.
Thank you, Mangesh. Thank you for that introduction. I love the way, and actually, Daniel, you took us through all those.
Deepak, are you there?
Yeah,
Unmute.
yeah. Okay.
Unmute him. He has to unmute.
Okay, 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Mangesh. Thank you for the introduction. And Daniel, I like the introduction. Are you talking about trauma? The subject, something I read about, but never heard. I heard a talk on this. And Ravi, also on spirituality. We all keep reading about spirituality. I hardly have gone talked about, listened to spirituality and NLP. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And today, in this webinar, we are all actually talking about the hows and the whys of, and also the wheres of NLP. So today, I'm going to talk to you about how NLP can actually, you can make impactful conversations through NLP. Let's, we just had a couple of sessions right now. I just reflect on what Daniel said and Ravi said, and just think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, just pull yourself back for some time and just reflect on what Daniel was talking about. And when you start reflecting, what do you see? You start actually visualizing what he was trying to say, and you could actually hear the communication that was happening within that, that visualization, and you could feel, okay, this is what trauma is all about, and just leave it at that, and then come to the situation where Daniel is. Now, Daniel would be actually, you would have, in his own internal world, he would have seen, he would have experienced NLP, he would have interacted with a lot of trauma patients, he would have understood a lot of these people, felt them, saw them, heard about everything about them. He has he has an internal world which is very strong, and he wants to share that with you. And when he's able to, when he's actually translating all that thing that is there in his internal world and sharing it with you through words, and you are getting it, and you are understanding it, the job is done. In NLP, in communication, the fact is, it's a very simple thing. You make people understand, and you be understood. If that's happening, you are a masterful communicator. Let's take it a little notch higher. There are lots of these people you have around you. Many people will be coming with many kind of things you would have made requests for. For example, they would come to you, say, for example, they say, I don't have the time to do it. I'm loaded with work. And I'm not, I don't find any support from anyone. I think I'll be giving up. When people come with these sentences and they're telling you this, what would you do? There could be two ways. The first thing is, you could actually have a straight conversation, say, why are you saying all this? And I think it's important that you should be doing it, and close the chapter. The person will actually do it or not do it, and whatever the consequence is, that will be there. But the transaction, it becomes a transactional communication. You know? However, if you want to generate, as Daniel was sharing, or Ravi was sharing, if you want to understand what the person is going through, you need to have a communication style that should be generative in nature. And how can you be generative in nature? You can actually ask questions. For example, this person who came to you says, "I really don't have time to do this." You could ask it many questions, and one of those questions could be, "What's stopping you to complete the work in time? Is there any other way you could do it?" I mean, there are many ways also that you could ask your team member, the particular person, and he would act. What would be the consequence? He would start actually thinking and exploring himself, and probably the more he thinks, the more he explores, the better are the chances that he's going to complete the task in well within time. This is generative discussion. Remember, this kind of discussion was actually the first NLP model that was developed by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, the founders of NLP. And this kind of conversation was based on the work of Virginia Satir and Fritz Perls. Both of them had masterful way of communicating with their patients. They knew how to generate discussions, and they knew how to get into the patients. So, ladies and gentlemen, this model, the meta model, actually is wonderful. It helps you pace and lead the discussion. It'll help you actually to influence people. It'll help you to actually generate conversations with other people, and then you start taking grip of those conversations that you have with other persons. So it's an interesting thing that NLP offers to the users of NLP. A little step higher. What if I told you that how do you like to communicate with other people? Suppose you want your work to be done by some of your team members, some of your colleagues, some of your friends. Do you think they really do it? There is a in there is an inborn thing. There is a resistance that always comes with whenever you make a request to any team member. The request is at the unconscious conscious level, and whatever happens is that whenever you make a request, there is a resistance. But what if through your communication you're able to bring down that resistance a little and make your communication flow over the resistance and straight into the subconscious of the person, influence him, make him work? What happens? Would you like to have that kind of approach adopted? Probably this is one of the most interesting techniques that NLP offers. You are in a position, NLP offers a approach to actually slightly make people go in trance through your conversations, help them to reduce that resistance they have to whatever you say, and in a way what happens is you are actually having a group of people who are actually listening to you, responding to you, working with you, and the fact is you are in a wonderful state. When people are helping you, people are there with you, you are in an amazing state. And this approach in NLP is called the Milton model. And when you use Milton model, you can use it anywhere. For example, you're making a public speech, you're talking to a large gathering of people, or talking to your own team. This model actually helps you to build a great connect, helps you to pace yourself, connect with other people, and lead the discussions. You can have actually a tremendous impact of all these people who are listening to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I shared with you three things. First thing is to make people understand and be understood is the first thing that's very important to be an impactful conversationalist. The second thing is how to generate discussions, which we do through the meta model, is going to be another thing, another tool, which is very important, has a great significance for conversations. The third we did is how to create a slight trance in your communication style, or which is called the Milton model, and use it in your communication. There are other models also that you could use in your communication, but which we can talk when the program comes in. But these three models, these three things that we're talking about, actually helps go a long way when you want to make your communication very impactful, when you want to make your presence felt, and when you want to lead teams in a manner that you have not visualized. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I think this part NLP can actually help you make a solid impact on your communication. And I wish you could go on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak. It is really great to know your principles of putting it up into communication. And mind your friends, we request you to put your questions because we have received two very interesting questions on the chat window. We will definitely be including that during our presentation.